All right, we'll start with the obvious. What did you see on the red card? And um, I guess just, yeah, thoughts on how that impacted the match.
Well, obviously, it definitely impacted the match, and it's really interesting to me just the way the protocol works. I think I think it's in Dallas, has a good idea that that probably wasn't a red card, and summons down to to the ref, and to have that long of a look at it. And I understand from a referee's perspective, there's ego involved when that happens, but I think as a casual observer, you look at that and I think you make a different decision, and obviously that's going to impact the game. But again, I think the last 2 weeks we've we've been battling more than just the players on the field. It feels like, right, and those calls haven't been going our way, and that's just. And this is the time where I think you got to dig deep, right? When it feels like nothing is going your way, and momentum is hard to find, and that's where you dig deep into your soul, and you decide whether I'm going to be a victim or I'm going to change my circumstances, and that's going to take all the guys in the locker room, the staff, that's everyone. We don't feel sorry for yourself. We had an opportunity to win that game when we had 11 players. We didn't do it, so let's get one day better.
We had a chance to talk to Alex Katranek after the last game, and asked him about the penalty, and he mentioned not letting those calls, having to win the game despite calls, and it seems like this team has made a conscious effort to kind of strengthen that mentality, kind of make efforts to not make excuses, kind of like you said there. Who's leading the charge in that, as far as leaders in this locker room, and how have you guys been able to kind of put those external factors aside and still kind of go
Yeah,
out?
I think Alex is one of the guys. Jay Glad, Rafa, um, Mecca, and you see a Mecca talking to the ref. And I think what's interesting in sport too is if you're in a good run of form and you're winning games and you're top of the league, those I don't think you encounter those many moments. So again, for us, it's about controlling the controllables, and so when I look at that game, I'm thinking about what could we have done better when we had a good run of attacking opportunities, right? How can we get more numbers in the box and be more goal dangerous, right? I think we had 25 shots, 5 of them on goal, and just be more just killers in the box and getting numbers in there. And so that's why I'm looking at this game. And I think they had one shot on goal. And so when you lose a game when you have one shot on goal, to me that says tactically the guys played the game the right way. And now, and I've said it pretty much all season, is it's really the boxes. And we've struggled putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not a surprise. But the way you can change that is by getting more numbers in the box. And that'll be the focus moving forward.
Going with that, how do you approach the locker room when you have only just 20 plus shots and the ball doesn't want to enter into the back of the net with this at all?
Again, you just got to keep working, and keep believing. And I think the belief thing is really important, because when you believe, you go to the box not knowing if you're going to get the ball. That's where the belief comes in. And I just think everyone, I think Diego and Joe did a lot of good stuff in the first half. But did they receive the ball in the most dangerous positions to score goals? And I would say not as well as we did against LA Galaxy, right? And so, the belief has to be there that the ball is going to come to me, even if the ball is on the left side. I don't want to drop back and get it. I want to be right in the wheelhouse where if it hits off someone's tail, I'm going to be in position to score the goal. And so we got to keep, and again, that is not instinctual for both of those players. They're link-up tens, right? But when whoever's playing in the 9 isn't getting the opportunities to get in front of goal, then we need those guys to carry the load. And that's what it's felt like from the beginning of the season. So we got to get those guys, especially the weak side 10. So in other words, the ball side 10 combine. Weak side 10 become a second forward because you know it's going to come to you. And when it does, we have to bury it.
And lastly, obviously you're having reinforcements coming on the way, hopefully in the next week. How big is that, having backup strikers?
It's huge, and I think it's huge not only from a playing perspective, but it injects the group with this again, belief, right? There's reinforcements coming. You know, again, I don't know how long that's going to take, but it does something special to the locker room where there's new blood in the locker room. There's a pedigree behind the players, and that brings extra belief into the group, and I think this is a great time to have that accessible to us.
Hey, Pops. That's a tough result. It really looked like there was a goal there for you at the end. Can you walk us through the changes you were about to make before the red card and then the tactical shifts that you ended up going to?
Yeah, so before the red card, we were going to go into a 4-2-3-1, so adding Ari to the front line and then having Jesus as an extra 10 with Diego and Diogo, and felt like we could then we can overload the middle of the field, but more importantly, just get those players in positions to score goals. When we didn't do that, when Luna got red carded, we went to a bit of a 3-4-2 and dropped Diogo back because the opportunities that we were getting in the first half and the second half a lot of balls fell to Brian Ojeda. And we felt that if Diogo was in that position to receive that ball, which he was in that one play. And again, I think this is like the killer mindset, you know. This is what we need. We need Diogo to show up in that moment, to hit the frame and like be the hero for us in that moment. So it wasn't meant to be. I think the guys that came in definitely did a great job. Again, down a man is not easy. Now we've done it twice, and I think in particular this game where I